welcome, or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. Clearly, this is our new series of messages by Human Design Profile. I feel like, is this not? That's better. Sorry about that. If you're here, you are a Hermit Opportunist 2-4 profile, or you're like, what the hell is this? If you don't know your profile yet, there is a link in the description below for you to grab yours. You'll need the same information that you need for your natal chart. So your birth date, time of birth, and location. Human Design is a little bit more finicky with the time of birth because it can change a few aspects in your chart if your time is not correct. So if you don't know your exact time, but maybe you have an intuition or somebody, or you've heard along the way that you were born maybe in the morning, afternoon, evening, overnight, just use a time that correlates to that time of day. Of course, you can use noon. Just know that, and you can also play around with it. Like you can put in different times. Sometimes it changes and sometimes it doesn't. I think mine doesn't change like depending on what time of day it is, but like my dad's does, I believe. So anyway, like I said, you can play around with it and just kind of put different times in there and see if it does change anything for you. But like I said, most people have an intuition that they were born during a certain period. Like I know someone who just has a feeling that she was born early in the morning and she just kind of goes with that. So anyway, and then from there you'll get a body graph and it'll look like this without all of the writing on it. That's my chart. But you'll see your type, your definition, strategy, incarnation, cross, profile, inner authority, and not self theme. For the purposes of these videos, we're going to be using your profile. However, it's definitely not the most important part. The beauty about Human Design to me is that, all of those things work in conjunction with each other. But the profile is just, for me, what got me hooked into Human Design. So that's why I decided to go with readings by profile. Definitely check out your strategy and authority because that'll help you understand how to navigate the world and the best way. Did I just say that? The best way to do that. And then the profile is kind of like how you do that. It helps you understand how, like you have interactions with people, how you interact with the world. So last time we read the background, and this time I'm going to read the personal section. It is a little bit longer, so you don't necessarily have to stick around for this part if you don't want to. Of course, afterwards we'll get to the tarot reading. So here we go. You are a natural who is here to be called out by others to share your innate talents and genius. You have a built-in barrier, such as a limited point of view, that protects you and your unique genius from being corrupted by outside interference. This barrier has a weak spot, a place where it can be penetrated. The right call from the right person can lead to profound transformation in your life and propel your purpose and destiny out into the world with a missionary's zeal. You don't like to be called out all the time, however, and answering just any call puts tremendous stress on your body. Improper use of your energy results in fatigue, burnout, and eventually exhaustion. Continually answering the wrong call turns a second line barrier into a psychological barrier that refuses to hear all calls, and you will ultimately suffer because of this. When called, you are incredibly impressive as you seem to be driven by an unseen force on a crusade to externalize your gift to the world. You are being pushed and motivated by your unconscious transpersonal fourth line, and yet, if your second line had its way, you would just stay in your protected space and never choose to be bothered by anyone. Consciously, you can feel incredibly helpless in the moment of the call as you are taken out of your protected and secure environment and pushed out into the world of social interactions. It is crucial that you give yourself hermit time away from your networks, as the solitude brings a delicious sense of harmony to your life. You are also very particular about your environment and enjoy having things arranged in a specific way that feels good for you, so you can be left alone to do your own thing. Your cave, when you retreat into it, is your sanctuary and castle, a place where you like to be without interruption. Uncertainty is part of your second line life. Living in a world where people expect you to be able to explain what you do and how you do it is uncomfortable for you and makes you question your own abilities. If you worry too much about what others think about what you do, you can become paranoid of the projections of others. Your gift is not something that you can explain. People will have to accept that what you do, People will have to accept that you do what you do and you don't know how or why. Your unconscious fourth line and your instinct for networking is the most effective way for attracting the opportunities for your calling and achieving success and security in the world. You must, however, also be called into the correct networks. When you are in your network, you feel nourished and can be nourishing to others. Your influence can be contagious and remarkable. As a hermit opportunist, you can move between nourishing and depleting, such as Michelangelo, who depleted his nourishing benefactor's resources. There is no moral judgment in this dynamic, however. There is no moral judgment in this dynamic. However, if you are in the wrong network, you can end up becoming dependent and depleting others' resources in an unhealthy way. You are not designed for strangers, and the only way a stranger can reach you correctly is by being introduced through someone you already know in your network. Knowing how to make correct decisions is very important, as there are specific calls in your life, and learning how to recognize them is crucial to your well-being. Attracting the correct call occurs naturally when your life is properly aligned by making decisions through your strategy and authority. Without this guidance, life can be chaotic and the life-transforming call may never be heard. I know that was a bit of a long one. There's a lot of information in there. It's interesting because, well, first of all, does that sound like you at all? Does that resonate at all? Yeah, does that resonate at all? Sound like you? It sounds like the 2 4s that I know. And interestingly enough, like, I have a lot of close people to me that are 2 4s. And, you know, I think with the interesting dynamic that, you know, it was talking about is that that second line would be perfectly fine in your cave, right? Just doing your own thing, enjoying life on your own terms, your little protective bubble, right? But that fourth line is like, I need to network with people. Like, you know, it was saying how the call comes from your network and the people that you know. So like building friendships is important. And if you ever, you know, kind of find yourself stuck trying to do something, like, you know, if you're looking for a job, if you're trying to date, or, you know, looking for a dining room table or something, if you're having a hard time finding it on your own, ask the people that you know. Like my one really good friend, she met her husband through her friends. Like he knew somebody else's boyfriend, and they came to a party. That's where they first met. And then a year or so later, I ended up going on a date with his friend, and his friend called, now I'm trying to remember how it went, but we were going to go, whatever. We were going to go to this bar. His friend that I was on the date with called her now husband, and I was like, well, shit, I'm going to call my friend. And, you know, so we all went to this bar, and, you know, like they hit it off. So again, you know, it's just like the people that you know, and it may not be, you know, like in that example, right? Like it's people that know people. So it's just about networking. It's having that tree, but also recognizing and honoring that need to go into your comfy little cave and rejuvenate, right? Okay. We don't have like a specific spread that we're working with, but we're just going to do a 6-card spread, 2 rows of 3. Here we go. What is a message for our hermit opportunists? I was like kind of messing around with glitter a little bit earlier, and it's like, it's gonna haunt me. It's everywhere. Let's see. We have the 4 of Wands, speaking about community, the Hierophant, the Page of Wands, wow, the 10 of Wands, the Moon, and the Hanged Man. Holy cannolis, and Strength at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so, wow. Did I say that already? This is so cool, because if it's not a major arcana card, it's a wand. So there's clearly, you know, like action. You know, wands talk about action, communication. I see the wands as also being like information cards. Like either gathering information, getting it, or giving it, right? So, I mean, we'll go through each card as we do. So we start with the 4 of Wands. Like I said, talk about community. We have these rabbits here. It could be a family of rabbits. Generally, the 4 of Wands talks about celebration. It's a time where you feel like you're on stable ground, right? Because there's 4 wands. So, you know, there's 4 corners, which traditionally means there is a strong, firm foundation. But there's a celebratory aspect to it, right? It can talk about unions. It could talk about harmony. There's also a discipline aspect that comes along with the fours in general, but the Four of Wands. And then we have the Ten of Wands underneath that. And the Ten of Wands generally talks about burden. We have this whale that has a bunch of wands in it, and then, you know, there's this figure that has their arms around the whale. But, you know, with the tens, it's the completion of those. So, I mean, you may be feeling burdened. You may have a lot of different responsibilities going on at one time. There may be a lot of things that you are trying to get yourself involved in. But, you know, like after the 10, we go back to the ace. So again, you know, like this is signifying, you know, there is this level of success, like, you know, what you have been maybe trying to get yourself involved in, or, you know, these responsibilities that you have paid off. Like you're in a good place, or you will be. But it's easy to kind of get stuck in this energy of, you know, just kind of worry and almost like concern. This could even be an uncertainty aspect. There he is. But, you know, I mean, at the same time, like you could just be feeling burdened by whatever this thing is. I mean, this could be your network. It could be your community. It could be, you know, like just kind of the thing that you have been trying to get. Hey. Thank you. Like the thing that you have been trying to get tied down, you know, I mean, it could have just been a burden for some time. And then we have the Hierophant here, and the Hierophant talks about higher education. It talks about traditional structures. So, I mean, you know, like this could be a marriage. It could be wedding planning. That's just one aspect of this. This could be college. It could be school. Like it could be continuing education. It doesn't necessarily have to be like college or university. It could be, you know, like maybe you signed up for a course in human design because you want to learn more about it, right? I just got done with a 20-week course myself. So, right, I mean, you could be a Taurus. You don't have to be. We have Pisces here. Some people correlate this to Cancer. We have Leo. I can't remember what the Hanged Man is. But, right, I mean, like you could be setting yourself up to further your education, further your understanding. There's, you know, like even, like I said, with the commitment thing in marriage, it could be that. And then with the moon underneath that, there's, again, like this level of uncertainty, because that is kind of what the moon is. Like things are either not as they appear to be. It could signify secrets. It could signify the subconscious. But also, you know, let's take a look at this card. So, this figure has their hand at their heart, and there's these other people around. Also, they've got their hands up, right? So if you are feeling burdened by your community, maybe there's some uncertainty about what you even want to study. And maybe that's because other people are telling you. And maybe you're struggling with making that decision on your own. Or even maybe just setting that boundary of, I appreciate the help. However, this is something that I've been spending a considerable amount of time and attention on, and it's my decision to make. This could even be too, because it's almost kind of like the moon, like, she's looking towards the future here on the right side of the card. And it really kind of feels like she's leaving behind these other people. And maybe that's also, like you could be moving, like this could even be a job. Again, it could be school, like college, university, or something like that. You could be traveling in order to do that. You could be changing locations, like if it is a job, like that you have been spending a lot of time and attention on. It could just be taking you to a new location, and there's kind of this energy of hope there. But it's like exciting unknown. Like almost kind of like you're excited for this next step, like excited to move to this place, excited to really, kind of explore this thing, whatever it is for you. Even if it is, a relationship, right? It doesn't necessarily have to go so far as to be marriage, but maybe there is a level of commitment where one of you is deciding to move to where the other person is. Like if it's been a long distance relationship, or maybe it's turning into one. But I love, that there is this heart-centered energy coming off of the moon here. It feels hopeful and exciting. And then we have the Page of Wands. That is exciting, right? the Page of Wands is playful. That's why, like we have the fox here coming out of the little foxhole, right? Like the hermit coming out of the hermit cave, right? There's this level of, adventure and seeking answers and, having this kind of playful energy about it though, because it's a page. So it's going to be, kind of the younger energies. So, with the wands, like going for it, but I keep hearing like going for it in your way. But also too, right? Like we were talking about in the beginning, understanding that you need that time in your cave, right? You need that time to kind of take a break from your network, especially if it does kind of start feeling like a burden, or that you're not feeling nourished and you're not feeling like you can nourish your network, right? But it's also about recognizing when to come out of the cave. You can't stay in the cave forever, unfortunately. You need that network. You need that community to see you, to call you out, on your gift, right? We need your gift, so we need to see you, okay? And then we have the Hanged Man here. With the Hanged Man talks about willful suspension. There's this level of surrender that comes with the Hanged Man. The whole purpose of being the Hanged Man is to see the situation differently, to look at it from a different perspective. Like, you know, this figure isn't like stressed or anything to be hanging upside down, right? They willfully suspended themselves. I'm getting this, like, I keep hearing in my head, like, give it time. Like, don't make judgments too quickly. If it, you know, didn't start out the way, you know, that fairy tale movie beginning, you know, like if it didn't start out that way, give it time. Give it time to. Because this is your movie, right? This isn't some movie that's already been put out. This is your movie. So just give it a little bit of time. And then we have Strength at the bottom of the deck, which again, almost just kind of, these two cards come right after each. I think it goes Strength and then Hanged Man. So, you know, Strength talks about determination, resilience. Again, you know, we see Strength holding on to the heart there. There's the sun and the moon. There's two cities on the shoulders. There's a dragon here. Like, you might, again, like, you know, just kind of feel like there's a lot of responsibility or even just a lot riding on this thing. And that's why I'm saying, like, don't allow yourself to be disappointed and just throw the whole experience away if it doesn't. And I'm not saying that it's not going to. I'm just saying what I'm hearing. Because disappointment comes from unmet expectations, right? So if your expectations are not met, know that, you know, maybe they're going to show up differently, and just give them a chance to. Again, like, kind of keep this playful attitude about what you're experiencing. And stay safe, of course. I mean, I have to say that. But again, you know, it did mention your strategy and authority. So when you pull up your human design, unless you already know it, of course, take a look into what your strategy and authority is. There's a ton of great information out there on YouTube. Interior Creature is who I just took that 20-week course through. Her blog is amazing. I would check that out. But this is like, you know, embarking on a journey here and embarking on an adventure, and I'm here for it. I'm going to leave it there though. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.